Well, I feel I should clarify a few things. Well, I did have a few things in my mind, but right now I can only recall one. I don't think I really explain about these sources of water. I don't know if I did. They're numbered. I explained that, but I don't think I explained that the actual springs, wherever they are, I don't think they're in the park, but they're in the hills around Yessentuki. The actual sources, there are several of them, and each one has a number. Maybe it's obvious now. I mean, it seems obvious. And the water from each of the sources has a different character, different taste, different mineral content. By the way, I found out, Yulia told me that in fact you're not really supposed to drink this mineral water too much. It's good for certain conditions, but it's not water just to drink every day like you do with water, because it has such a high mineral content. And I may have said that some of it tastes very salty. Well, apparently it's not very good for you if you drink too much. And I think it's, could be wrong here, but I think it's only numbers 4 and 17 which are commonly used for drinking now. There are other springs, other sources in Yessentuki or around the town that are used for different things. So some of the places I've been to and have described as sanatoriums are actually places where you go to get mineral baths and mud baths. So some of the waters are used for that kind of thing. Some of them are hot because there's volcanic activity around here. I think the Caucasus are relatively young mountains. They're very high and spiky, like the Himalayas, and that would fit with volcanic activity. There is, I think there's a geyser or a geyser near the town I went to yesterday, Zheleznovodsk. I think that's my most successful attempt so far at pronouncing that name. Zheleznovodsk. No. Zheleznovodsk. Zheleznovodsk. Or Zheleznovodsk. Okay. Doesn't look that difficult on paper. I don't know why I have such trouble with it. Well, this Soviet music, Soviet pop music, Soviet martial music, all kinds of Soviet music is all over town at the moment. It's probably to do with the upcoming Victory Day, 9th of May. Hello. They are Kultits. They saw me sitting here and they've come to find food. Talking of food, I have my lunch here. 2 plums and a wee bottle of Armenian brandy. Two things to say here. One, I'm not an alcoholic. Drinking spirits in the park, it has a bad name. I'm trying to rehabilitate it. I think it's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm not going to leave the bottle here like some good-for-nothing people do. Like some people who've been here. I'm not a ruffian, a thug, a Ned or a Gopnik. I'm a responsible, mature pillar of the community. At least that's what I strive to be. And I'm on holiday, not in a Russian sanatorial kind of way, but in an alley kind of way. I want to let my hair down. So I'm gonna have I've been exercising, I've been hiking, I've been mountain biking, I've been exploring. Today, I just feel like relaxing, having a wee drink in the park. So that's what I'm gonna do. And the plums doesn't seem like much for lunch, does it? Well, because I'm not exercising, I think I'm just gonna skip lunch. I think I'm going to be meeting Yulia for dinner, so I'll probably be eating richly. You know, there's people coming past, and is this just, why do I just really don't want to be seen drinking the brandy here when people are walking past. And I'm just wondering how fundamental that is to being human, or if it's just a product of my uptight upbringing. I think it's more like the former. You don't see people in this town sitting on park benches or whatever, drinking. You don't see people staggering down the street with kebabs. You see nothing like that. It feels like a very healthy town full of responsible, nice people. At least this part of town. Maybe there's some more exciting parts, I don't know. So I got myself the plums and I got the brandy. And then I had the problem of finding somewhere to sit and drink them. Didn't want to go back to the hotel. That was boring. But then I didn't want to sit on the park bench and where all the nice people sit, where all the kids are playing in the fountain. So I found a relatively rough part of the park, a tucked away corner where there's some broken glass around, and for some reason I feel more comfortable here. This is from wind and sun yesterday. There are hundreds of these little firebugs. I think you call them firebugs. I first saw them in France a few years ago. And they're very curious. Every time I put something down, they investigate it. Well, there were dozens around here a few minutes ago. There's some down there. Cute little guys. Are they bugs or are they beetles? In other words, are they true bugs? Yeah, they're not beetles, are they? A beetle has a certain style about it. You know, a certain swagger. This brandy is good, by the way. mentioned online in my philosophy forum, I mentioned in passing that there was a lot of nostalgia in Russia for the Soviet Union. Some guy corrected me. Some guy said, no, that's just manufactured by the current regime. Well, he's wrong. I mean, I bowed to his superior wisdom at the time because I didn't know Russia very well. But now that I've been here, I can tell you the nostalgia for the Soviet Union is very real and very deep. It's not a blind nostalgia. People who value things about the Soviet Union, they're not idiots. They know what was bad about it and what was good, but it was not monolithic. Soviet Union was huge and varied geographically, but also in time. I mean, let's talk about the 60s and 70s. Soviet Union is not the same as talking about the 30s. Stalin's crimes were treated after he died as a kind of aberration, not as an intrinsic part of the Soviet project. But there's a sense that that there was people really felt part of a community back then. And the nostalgia to some extent is transmitted down the generations because the songs and the stories that are passed down and that become popular are from the Soviet era, often from movies. Soviet movies is a whole other subject I might get into sometime. Just fantastic film industry they had. Despite the obvious censorship. To be nostalgic for the Soviet Union is not to 100% approve of it. It's like what I was saying about buildings. You don't have to like or dislike a building, you just have to respond to it in some kind of way, you know, to understand it, to like some things about it, to dislike others. It's not black and white. When I say that, I often worry that I'm becoming a fence sitter. I used to be, just looking at a dog going crazy over there, I used to be very forthright, vehement in my opinions, and I used to think it was important to come down on one side or another. And I'm not disavowing that way of going about things completely. But so much of the polarized opinion you see is shallow, boring, stupid, destructive, nasty, and pointless. And it doesn't get you anywhere, it's not constructive. you do, even if you're a radical, even if you're considered on the extreme end of the left or whatever, if you're going to be intelligent about it, you need to step back and understand both sides. So anyway, I've done that more and more over the years. Well, so I'm second guessing myself. It's possible I'm just getting older, I'm losing my courage, I'm humming and hawing. Well, so be it. I mean, both youthful conviction and middle-aged circumspection are valuable. I can't get away from who and what I am. I'm approaching 50 years old. Youthful conviction would be boring in me right now if I was talking like I did in my early 20s at dinner parties or whatever. I would be an utter bore. I was an utter bore then, probably. Well, I have honestly had just 3 little gulps of brandy. And already I'm feeling quite tipsy, and I've forgotten my train of thought here at all. They're all competing with each other to serve the best Caucasus, that's Russian for Caucasian cuisine. And that's a combination of Georgian, Armenian, Azeri, and Russian. I don't know if the Chechens have their own cuisine. Chechens, Circassians, Balkars, so many ethnic groups. But there is a kind of Caucasian cuisine that is shared amongst, even among the peoples who are in conflict, like Armenians and Azeris, over, well, you know, Nagorno-Karabakh. Chechnya, by the way, borders this region. This region, as I think I mentioned before, is Stavropol Krai, and Chechnya, probably that way. There's an excursion available to go to Grozny. I declined. The idea of the excursion is to marvel at the wonders of New Grozny with its amazing new mosque, skyscrapers and so on. I'm sure that would have been fascinating, but I think it takes about 3 or 4 hours to drive there, so